Hi there, and welcome to this episode of The Eagle's Eye. I'm your host, Brooke Young, and I'm here today with Dakota Hobbs, a wide receiver for Ashland University's football team and a JDM student. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I'm just going to dive right in. So when did you begin playing football? I know you play at the college level now, but when was your starting point in this sport?
I first started playing football around like 4 years old. I played squeegee football for a team called the True Vine Saints back in Youngstown. It's no longer a team, but they changed the name.
Really? So how was that starting so young? Did you enjoy it when you were that young?
Yeah, it's my dad. He played football, and I had a lot of energy as a kid. So I used to get in trouble in school, and they found my outlet through sports. I actually played quarterback when I first started, and I was just like, I wasn't even 50 pounds.
You were so little. So you mentioned having a lot of energy and just finding an outlet in the sport. When did you know it was something you were passionate about and something you wanted to continue on a greater level?
I would say I always had a feeling or an attraction to it. I wanted to do this for a long time, but freshman year of high school, we were in class actually, a health class. I had a teacher, and he went around and asked everybody what they wanted to be. And when he asked me, I was like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be a doctor. I didn't want to be a lawyer. I was like, I want to play football. So that's when I realized, I really want to do this.
How old are you when he asked that, your health teacher?
Like 13.
Wow,
13.
so you knew pretty early in your life. And you played high school football all 4 years in Youngstown. Is that correct? Can you tell me just a little bit about that experience and how that was as a learning experience for you?
My freshman year playing varsity, it was definitely a learning experience. It was eye-opening that I had to get a lot better, and it was I don't know, a privilege you could say, playing for that school, Ursuline. I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot that year, and I played defense only my freshman year though.
Really? So that's very impressive that you were a freshman playing on the varsity team, though. So congratulations about that. And you moved on, like you said, you were so passionate, and you began your college football career at Malone. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you learned from that team, how you grew with that team, and just what you did while you were at Malone?
Malone was a really good learning experience for me. After my freshman year of football, I had actually quit because I just wasn't happy. I don't know, I was just going through a lot at the time. So I just did a lot of soul searching that off season, and I came back my sophomore year, and I just say I got closer with God there. That's one big thing, and it was just a good learning experience. I had a lot of good teammates there. It was just fun. We didn't win that many games, but we stayed strong, and I really feel like that helped us all grow closer together.
Yeah, and you mentioned that it was a really good learning experience for you, that you did a lot of soul searching while you were there. Would you say you grew a lot as a person at Malone as well as an athlete?
Definitely more as a person, just figuring out what's important and what I actually wanted, you know what I'm saying? Because coming up, you always hear what people tell you should do or stuff like that, but when you actually sit down and just think about what you want, what's going to make you happy, it takes you somewhere different mentally.
Yeah, definitely. So, and then it must be really hard, for not everyone does not know this, but Malone actually obliterated their football program. Can you take me back to that moment in time and just tell me a little bit about what you felt in that moment and when you received that life-changing, devastating news?
Yeah, it was just a regular week. We made it through the whole week of lifting, and then it was weird because me and my teammates were up late that night talking just about stuff, probably we weren't happy about being at the school, how just not fun it was. So then the next morning, we all get a call. We had different lifting times. Mine was 8 o'clock usually, but Fridays we all lifted together. So we all got texts, come to the gym. So the whole team walking over there, we all walked in almost at the same time. We just see the coaches lined up, and they guided us to the gym. We all sitting down, and we get inside the gym, and the president of the school walks in, and he just says, "It's over with. There's no more football here at Malone." And all the air just got sucked out of the room. And the first thing that went through my mind was just wow. But it wasn't wow, I'm not going to play again, because like I said, I played at Malone. I felt like I could go somewhere else and play football. There were a lot of guys on that roster who didn't, this was their last chance at football. So it was just it was really eye-opening, because it's you never know when this game can get taken away from you, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the biggest, I guess, eye-opening moments I had for me in my career. This game, it isn't forever. A lot of times you can lose it, not even having control of it.
Yeah, and it probably helped you to appreciate the game more. definitely. So you had to look for a brand new school. You had to make a huge transition in your life. And you were probably, sifting through options. What drew you to Ashland? I mean, how did you eventually end up here?
I didn't talk to Ashlyn until almost the beginning of like summer break from like finishing my year at Malone. And it was just, I came up here one day, I spoke with Coach Cody, and it was just a good feeling. I just felt like this is somewhere with good tradition, somewhere I could come and leave a legacy, and always I could come back and show my kids when it's time for them to play, like I played here, you know what I'm saying? This is what you want to try to do, get to a program where it means something to play football, you know what I'm saying? It means something to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's not just empty, it has a purpose.
Yeah.
And that's what you felt here at Ashland. So can you tell me a little bit about that transition, actually coming to Ashland and living here, and then eventually starting on the football team? How was all those big changes in your life that you went through at one time?
It was a lot at the time. It was, I don't know. It's like the best word I could use to describe it is a lot. Definitely coming here and adjusting to things, though. It's a lot different from Malone here. Like, it's a lot more social, I'll say. For like my first day of school here, I said hi to at least 20 people. At Malone, it wasn't the same way. People walk past you, not even say hi. You say hi, they don't even wave back sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah, it was rough. And then the football team, since camp, we're competitive, me and like all my friends now, but it was competitive to a point where like we would compete, but we want to see each other do good. And it was like, those guys, they're all cool. I love all of them. They're all funny. We all talk all the time. So it was just like a good transition, but at the same time, it was definitely something like, this is, you know what I'm saying, wow, in a matter of a year.
Yeah, and you're appreciating the small town feel. I think that's what I got from what you were saying, even from the team and also just people walking around. So you mentioned your teammates, but you haven't mentioned your coach yet, and that is Lee Owens. Can you tell me a little bit about what it's been like to learn from him? He reminds me a lot of my high school coach. You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot from him. He's a very like, I wouldn't say like hard-nosed type of coach, but he's like, he wants to see the best. He wants you to do your best. He wants you to be on it all the time, and I respect that in him as a coach. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't like anything less than your best effort, 100%. And I feel like learning from him can get me to a better place as a player and a man leaving here. Yeah, I know he's very supportive of his players, which is probably really helpful to you. So you have been playing for Ashland. You play wide receiver, as I mentioned in the very beginning. Can you tell me a little bit about your first couple games at Ashland and how those went, if you had any notable moments in those, or just your emotions as you were playing football again?
It was the first game, the first home game. They told me, like, everybody was telling me, like, hey, you're going to be happy when you see the home crowd, you know what I'm saying? Because Malone, we didn't have a home field. We played at the Hall of Fame all the time. And it's like, we had a decent amount of fans, but in that big stadium, you don't really, you know what I'm saying? So to have your own home stadium and just like the Ferris State game, to see that turnout, it was like, wow, like this is college football, you know what I'm saying?
You can look at it and see the faces.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, wow, this is what I do it for.
Yeah, but notable games, I say so far my favorite game was the Ferris State game.
Really?
Just because like that's one of the most physical games I've ever been a part of. It felt long. It felt really, really long. And I really enjoyed it though, the competition, and it was just a fight to the end.
Yeah, that's perfect. So I want to touch on something else really quickly. As I mentioned, you're a JDM student, so you're here in this program. Can you tell me a little bit about what drew you to that major and just how you felt inspired to come here with us?
Yeah, at first in college, I started as a computer science major. And I thought that was what I wanted because I was always interested in technology. On my own time, I do stuff with technology, like make YouTube videos on my PlayStation and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought like that was the route to go. And then I ended up not being interested in that, so I switched to a comm major. Because I was like, I'm good with people, I'm good at talking, I like talking to people. So that didn't really pan out. And then when I left Malone, I was looking at the majors here, and I was like, okay, I got 2 more years. What do I really want to do? And then I looked into the JDM major, and I was up here for camp. And I ended up talking to Dave, and he sold me on the idea. He was just telling me all the stuff that's possible coming out of here, and all the stuff that like the program does, just different ways to get involved and be a part of the school. And that's something growing up that I always imagined, like when I go to college, I want to be a part of like the community, you know what I'm saying? I want to be a face or a known name, so.
And it's good to combine your passions of technology and communication all in one. Thank you so much for sitting down today and just sharing your story and just sharing why you came to Ashland. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for watching. That concludes this episode of The Eagle's Eye. I'm your host, Brooke Young.